Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell and this is my review of Ad Astra. Now this film stars Brad Pitt as an astronaut who is in the near future, supposedly, and his father has gone off on the space mission 16 years prior to the far reaches of space. They lost contact with him, and so he is just presuming that his father's dead. When they find reason to believe that his father might be alive, he decides to go after his father and try to figure out what's going on. Brad Pitt is probably the best part of this film, I would say. He does a really good performance overall. He has this duality to his character where he starts out the film very stoic, very robotic almost, in regards to how calm he's able to keep himself and composed. And then as the film continues to progress, things become more personal for him, and you see his pulse start to go faster, and you see him start to express himself more and get more frustrated, and you see that facade start to break down a little bit more easily. And so I thought that he just overall gave a really good performance in that aspect. Special effects in the CGI are also really well done, especially the space stuff where I think a lot of it is CGI or green screen or something of that sort. It all looked very realistic, really well done, and I had really no issues in that department. All the sets looked very futuristic and spacey. And also on that note, there's times where they're like on a lunar base on the moon. It's very commercialized. You can tell that people have been there and have established places for quite a long time. There's like flights that you can take, or rockets I guess, that are just commercialized to take you to the moon, and there's a whole like airport, spaceport thing where there's like restaurants and stuff. It just seemed really futuristic and actually really realistic in regards to what, assuming that we actually have space travel to a decent capacity sometime in the near future, hopefully, that seems like a realistic interpretation of what the film or what the future could look like, and so it's kind of a cool thing to see. Unfortunately, that's where my positives end for this film, because it is slow as hell, and as a result I was extremely bored for about 60% or 70% of this film. The beginning is a very slow burn to get to the point where it actually starts to get to its main plot, and then it has some exciting moments in the second half, but it's, for the most part, a very slow burn. The main relationship pull in this film is between Brad Pitt and his father, Tommy Lee Jones. They interact in this film at some point. I won't say how or why or anything, but they do. And for a film that takes its time getting to that point, that whole interaction, that relationship felt so rushed just by the end. Like, I won't say when it happens, but it's towards the end, and it just seemed like they could have spent a whole hour on developing that relationship and fleshing it out and making it a lot more memorable and emotional, and it seemed like they spent maybe 15 minutes of the whole 2-hour runtime on that relationship, and then they just kind of move on to the next thing. It seemed really strange for what the main build-up to the film was, and it just kind of bugged the hell out of me, and kind of how underused Tommy Lee Jones's character was ultimately in this film. And then just throughout the film, there's, at least as far as I could tell, there are numerous plot threads which just didn't really seem to have a point. There's a fight with like guns and lasers on the moon at one point, which I don't even know why that was happening. It never really gets talked about as far as I had noticed. There's characters which come in throughout the film, like Ruth Negga. She's in the film for like 15 to 20 minutes maybe. She gets more development than Tommy Lee Jones's character does, and even her plotline just kind of gets left at the wayside after a point because it just never gets brought up again. And I don't know, I was ultimately very frustrated with this movie, and there's a point where Brad Pitt says, why keep going, why keep trying? I almost walked out of the theater at that point because I was like, yep, you're right, sir. Why keep doing this? So ultimately, Ad Astra, it's really boring, and it's really dumb, I thought, personally. It felt like it was trying to do something really cool and unique and indie film-esque, but it just did not really deliver on it for me personally. Like I said, it's a very slow burn. I can normally handle slow burn movies when they do something interesting, but this film just felt like it did nothing to really stand out for me. Again, Brad Pitt did a really good job in his performance. Special effects were good. I liked the realistic portrayal of the moon or lunar space travel stuff, but everything else was just meh, or if not worse. So yeah, Ad Astra, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it more than me? Did you like it as much as me? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your favorite space-based film. I'd be really curious. Mine, off the top of my head at least, is probably Interstellar. I'd have to think about it though, because I didn't really think about it before posing the question. Like, share, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And as always, people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.